Now, the price of tomatoes in Nigeria has skyrocketed after a deadly month nicknamed Tomato Ebola laid waste to farms across Kaduna State. As Ashley Mazuri now reports, the situation has forced Sub-Saharan largest producer of tomatoes to declare a state of tomato emergency.
Taiwo Banle walks around a market in Lagos, shopping for groceries. One of Nigeria's staple tomatoes are at the top of her list, but Taiwo is hesitant to buy some today. Nigeria is facing a severe tomato shortage, a moth whose scientific name is Tuta absoluta, in which the locals have dubbed has invaded farmers and devastated harvests. As a result, tomato prices have jumped 700% to stand at 27,000 naira a basket, equivalent to $135, up from a previous price of 3,000 naira, which was equivalent to just $15.
Buying one tomato for 100 naira, you might as well resort to eating food that does not require tomatoes, like okra, ilasepo, ogbono, which we call akpon. You know, but it's outrageously expensive, and people are busy doing tomato festival in Spain, you know, swimming in tomatoes. Well, God will get us there. They should do something about the situation on ground.
The West African country has tens of millions of farmers, most of who work on subsistence basis and live on less than $2 a day. Kaduna State, the largest tomato growing region in the country, has declared a state of emergency as farmers have lost nearly 80% of their crop. Kudirat Hassan, a tomato vendor, claims business has been tough for the past year.
We don't see customers like we did before. This is because some people say they would rather buy something else. They cannot afford to buy tomatoes, but we are managing because this is the work we have been doing. We cannot abandon our livelihood. That is why we are buying in smaller quantities.
Exporters and much larger businesses have also been hit hard. A tomato paste manufacturing plant in Kaduna, owned by one of Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has been forced to suspend operations. However, tomato Ebola is not the only problem facing the industry. Nigeria produces 1.5 tons of tomatoes annually. Analysts say up to 45% of the harvests perish due to lack of reliable transport networks, poor infrastructure and inefficiency, leaving much of Nigeria's fertile land fallow. According to economist Baloji Okusaga, decades of bad governance and corruption lie at the root of Nigeria's agricultural dysfunction.
We think more about production than we think about food security. And essentially what is starting to really show is that because farming is done at subsistence level, unaided by government. The only aid government has so far given to farmers is fertilizers and all of that. Nobody talks about extension services, nobody talks about storage and preservation, nobody talks about access to markets, nobody talks about yield per hectare.
Tomatoes are a key ingredient in the famous jollof rice, a West African dish prepared with tomatoes, onions and peppers, a delicacy which is also now clearly endangered. Ashley Mazuri, KTN Business.